Hey everybody, this is Josh with just a quick little pre-show announcement for you. As some of you may know, I have been writing fiction for some time and have put out a few books and stories on Kindle, but it's been a little while since I've put anything out. Well, today, as a matter of fact, the day this episode comes out, Monday, June 5th, I've just released a new short story that is currently free for this week only, and it is on Amazon for Kindle. And it's titled The Golden Calf. So just go to Amazon, search for The Golden Calf, search for Josh Gaines. You should be able to find my author page. And don't wait on this. If you've never read something by me, here's a chance to read something for free. I'm really proud of this little story and how it turned out. And it's going to be the first in a series. And hopefully there will be an audiobook version to come. But anyway, the key thing here is it's only free until May 9th. After that, it's going to be 99 cents. But give it a try. Go download that. And you may not know, you don't actually have to own a Kindle tablet in order to read Kindle books. They have all sorts of free reading apps that work on Android, iPhone, iPad, desktop, all sorts of things. So I will include links to both of those things in the show notes. But for now, key thing to do here is go to Amazon and download The Golden Calf. And hey, if you like it, please leave a review and then go perhaps read through the other stuff in my catalog. That helps me a lot, and I appreciate it.
Hey everybody, it's Andy here now, and I apologize for this extra long intro. This is not normal, but there are a few more things to tell you before we get in. First thing is that Dave Mantel is on our show today, and this is the second attempt we did at this episode because the first one got really messed up for a lot of reasons that you'll hear in this episode. But then we had another glitch with the software we used to record people where we lost the last, third quarter of this episode. And the reason that sucks is because we lost both times. We've completely lost the parts where Dave gets to talk about his album and what it's about and stuff. So his album comes out June 30th. It's a really, really nice ambient instrumental album. It's under the name Naal, N-A-A-L, and you can pre-order it now at naalmusic.com, naalmusic.com, and I would highly encourage you to do so. So the album's coming out June 30th. I'd like to have him back on at least one more time before then. Purely, we're going to stop fucking around like we do on this episode and just get right to the album and talk about what it is and why and all that stuff. So that's the first thing. Okay, second thing is that I've been talking about doing tours with Emery. The first one was supposed to start Tuesday, June 6th, which is the day after this comes out. Long story short is that I'm no longer on that first tour as Lowercase Noises. Their bus broke down. They no longer had room for me, and so I will not be there for the run from Springfield, Missouri to Seattle, Washington. So sorry if you were planning on coming to that, but I will be on the other ones in late July and mid-September. So there's that. And then the very last thing is that I'm still doing my house show tour that starts this month. The Slow Spaces tour with Hotel Neon. That starts June 26th in Denver, Colorado at Josh's house, actually. And you guys, Ink and Echo listeners, can get 10% off those tickets using the code Ink and Echo. And you can just go to lowercasenoises.com/tour, and all those first dates you see there are the Slow Spaces tour. So it's living room shows. It's going to be cool. So those are all the things. Once again, sorry for the long intro. Here's the show with Dave. Oh, here we go.
Ooh! I told you. It's coming back around the block for y'all. For all your asses. Dave time. Dave time. Dave time. We got Mantel. Dave time. Whoo! Look out. Dave been sitting on the mic. He's writing all the sad ass music. And look out. Oh, the song titles are sad. But he doesn't give a lip about it. Ooh.
Welcome
and that's why you're welcome to the Bad Christian Podcast.
No.
Yeah.
That's what you get for referencing other podcasts.
How dare you?
That's the greatest rap anybody's ever written about me. That's a fact.
Sure.
Those were very pre-written lyrics. I prepared a lot and planned.
Okay. Well, Dave Mantel
curse.
is back.
Dave is here.
Hello, Dave.
I'm here. Hello, Andrew.
Josh, do you want to describe what happened and why there's a curse on Dave's on this podcast?
Yeah, everybody. Hey, everybody. I'm Josh
Everybody.
from Ink and Echo.
Everybody.
Everybody. We've been inundated with Dave problems.
Dave's are
Just kidding.
a pox upon this podcast is what Dave's are. Anyway.
Well, so last time, Andrew and Dave and I, not last time, something you folks haven't heard, we were having a very nice conversation that lasted about 90 minutes altogether, and came to find out, well, first of all, it was jangly as all get out. The internet kept stopping
There were
on
problems,
Andy's end.
Yep.
And,
No
we
fingers
had to
being pointed, but
right. I mean,
There were
no
kids of
fingers
mine that
except
woke
Ed
up
Andy.
that I had to take care of instead of. So we had to stop the conversation a few times.
Yeah, but we had at least 70 good minutes of quality content that just basically went down the drain.
We couldn't
because
sling that tent anywhere. We slung it
couldn't
right into
sling
the
it.
trash.
It'd be kind of like if David in the Bible was walking out to his confrontation with Goliath and he had no tent in his sling to sling at the giant's forehead.
Thank you.
That's a deep cut joke, everybody.
Boy.
Hey, but we're feeling good over here. We got Dave back. He's got a new record. We're going to talk about it. But first, let's hear the Pretenders about the song about Ohio where their city disappears.
Well, if I
here it
could
is.
walk 500 miles to Ohio and I walk 500 more. Is that what you're talking about?
No.
no, the other one.
Okay.
No, it isn't.
Okay.
Well,
Wait, what?
that's...
I thought you were going to play your
explained it,
guitar
didn't I?
or something. I was like, okay, great. Dave,
This is
how
going
are you?
very well.
What are you doing?
Dave, save us
Save
here.
our podcast.
Yeah, this is good. People have already turned everything off. They're just like, well, this episode is over.
Like,
now.
we're going back to Radio Lab right now. There you go.
We're going back to S-Town. This podcast sucks. Yeah.
S-Town stands for Shit Town, doesn't it?
Yeah,
does,
I haven't listened to
I
it.
just started listening to that today. I'm a little behind.
it's
in,
pretty good.
The hype train.
I won't
but
spoil it for you guys.
Yeah,
Nice.
I've hopped on. I listened to 3 episodes today at work.
3 apps. 3 apps deep.
3. Goodness. Binge listening,
You're
I guess.
deep in the throes
I mean,
of shit town.
Some would call that a way to live, I suppose.
Look,
Others would call it excessive.
you can call it whatever you want. I'm living my life the way I want to live my life, you know?
Hey, fun fact about Dave.
Now, if it was
Josh.
3 episodes of Ink and Echo, fine. Totally
Fine.
fine. That's a normal daily nutritional value rate.
Yeah.
3
recommended
eps
daily
to
serving.
consume. Right.
No, Josh.
Boy, oh boy.
Here's a fun fact about Dave that you don't know, but that I know because I'm in a stupid text meme group with Dave. He texted us all one day and he was like, "Hey, I just found out that I accrue vacation at my job. I have 6.5 weeks of vacation that I didn't know I had." And
wow.
so, Dave, I have a question for you. How in the fuck do you not know that you have vacation? Like, that's like one of the most important things that you get from your job is the ability to not be there but still get paid. So
Yeah,
what the
well,
hell?
I don't. Yeah, great question. Great question, Handy.
I've been sitting on this
it's a really-
question because how does that happen?
Yeah, you're asking a real great question. So first of all, 6.5 weeks is a little misleading because I only work between 25 and 30 hours a week. So it's not really 6.5 weeks. It's like six and a half weeks of hours for my normal work week.
So it's not 40-hour weeks, but
Right.
it's 6.5 of your normal working weeks.
Right, correct. So yeah, so
Okay.
I've been working at this job, my day job, for a few years, and I guess I just never. I'm because I'm not full time. I don't get normal benefits like health insurance and things like that, and so I just assumed that I don't. I get like holiday pay, but that's like I get like a half day. So like we just had Memorial Day, and I got like a half day for Memorial Day, which is great. I like whatever. But I just assumed that was what I got for this job because I'm not full time, and so all of our like HR and everything is all online, and it's in this really shitty window, like a Microsoft Explorer program that, like, in order to refresh any of the pages, I have to click on the thing, then I have to minus the tab, and then I have to open it back up again to make the page refresh. So
That sounds so corporate and cool.
Yeah, I spend as little amount of time in that program as possible. I basically just use it to clock in and out. But I was looking at my hours the other week to make sure I had enough hours for what I was working, and I saw this button I had never seen before. It was a palm tree. And I thought that doesn't belong in this time clock. Why is there a palm tree here?
It is a weird corporate
sunglasses on.
I was like, maybe this
It's
is
like
like
an old
one
MS DOS.
It's like the little
Like-
paper clip. Yeah, it's like, you look like you need a vacation. I'm a palm tree.
That's sort of how it felt, because then I clicked on it and I looked at it and I was like, oh yeah, this says benefits. I don't have any of those. And I looked at the numbers and I was like, wow, this says benefits. I have some of those.
So now
I'm just
this
surprised
also
it wasn't
means-
clear at the beginning.
Yeah, that's some poor
Maybe it was.
communication
Maybe somebody told me
on,
I
like,
just
part
wasn't
of the company.
listening. Yeah, I'm not really sure.
So now this also means in the course of 3 years, you've never been like, gee, I need a day off.
No, because I only work 3 days a week. So
Okay.
I work 3 long
kinda
days a
sense.
week, and then I'm off the rest of the, like, I work my other job in music production the rest of the long weekend. So I've never been like, oh boy, I can't make it into work for 3 days. I better take some vacation. That never
Like,
occurred
you've already
to me.
had 4 days off. You can do it. It's fine. But so when you went on a tour recently, did you just do it in those 4 days? So you didn't have to miss work or something?
Yeah. So it was the cool thing.
This is
about my
really
boss-
great conversation, by the way. It's like, why do you have days off? Like, when do you go on vacation? But I do want you to answer that question.
Sure, we can edit all this stuff out later. It's fine. We'll
I'll
just have
edit
a
most of it
conversation.
out. Totally. Yeah.
So my boss is really cool and lets me shuffle the days that I work around. So for a tour, and sometimes when I book bands to do like recording or whatever, I'll just say, hey, I'm going to work 3 days at the beginning of this week and then 3 days at the end of next week. So I essentially have like 7 or 8 days in the middle that I can do whatever I want. So
And then your
that's
boss
what I
goes
did for my
back to
tour.
her compadres or their compadres and says like, man, I don't think this guy knows he has vacation. I wonder how long this is going to last.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know why he's rescheduling his work week like this. This is really strange. Yeah. So
Well, cool job, Dave.
now you
Great.
know. Yeah. Right.
Or flexible.
Cool job.
Yep.
Anyway. Okay.
All right, well,
listen
that's
to
been
this.
the
Listen to
the
this.
Ink and Echo podcast.
Guys, today
Uh-huh.
I purchased tickets. I'm so excited about this.
Oh, I know what you're going to say. I
Gizzard
saw it on
and
Twitter.
the Lizard Wizard. Oh, I didn't.
Yes.
I didn't know they were coming to Denver, but then they
And
are, and they're coming to
Boulder.
Denver and Boulder. And I bought tickets for both. Not a gun infinity opens the door. Not a gun infinity opens the door. Wait for the answer to open the door. Not a gun infinity opens the door.
Shit. Is that
You
what
know
they
this
sound like?
podcast should be? I mean, that's one of the 7 guys playing, and then the rest of them come in, and that's how they make the psychedelic sounds of the King Giz
yeah.
and the Liz Wiz. But
Ugh, that sounds terrible.
This would be.
I don't want
I'm
Liz
so
Wiz.
very
Let me just say
happy.
that right now.
Because this is up there with. I mean, I've gotten to see Huey Lewis and the News twice.
He was
which
with the
that's,
News?
That's a more rare occasion. Because
What about Huey
he's
Lewis and the
you
fake
know, he's
news?
gonna be. What did I say?
Oh, you You said,
Oh, okay.
I just
That's
made
a Trump
stupid
joke. I understand.
Yeah.
That should, hey, if I ever have a midlife crisis and want to start a Huey Lewis cover band,
Yeah,
well,
Huey
no, I
Lewis
should
and the
do it
Fake
now
News.
while fake news is kind of a
It'd be like
thing.
Bluey Doofus on the fake news or something.
Hey, take this however you want. I don't think that fake news is going away. So you got that going for you.
Got some time? Yeah. I mean, anyway, the simplest way to say it, this is bucket list material. The only other one is Alan Parsons. Like, if I get to see him before he dies, great.
But you're talking this King Gizzard and the Liz Wiz, which is, or whatever you just said. This is a pretty new band to you, right? So how can it already be bucket list status?
Dude, when the passion comes, you can't deny it.
It's undeniable, you would say.
Because these bands only come around for me about every year or less. There's some long dry periods. I'm not Mr. Oh, Chance the Rapper, he's in town, hell yeah! Jumping on that sounded. I don't care about whatever new
sitting
trendy
right here.
artist.
Chance the Rapper is sitting right here.
All I'm trying to say is there aren't that many bands I care about seeing live.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
And this one, my what is that called? The
your soul, your brain,
the curve, the curve, like the threshold
the
went
bell
up
curve.
real fast with. Thank you. With King Gizzard, went up real fast, and I realized
the limit
we were
as X
soulmates.
approaches infinity.
Yeah, Nonagon infinity. Yeah.
That
This is
sounds
some
stupid. Go ahead.
loose tent we're slinging over here. Anyway, that's all.
I'm happy for you, Josh. Very happy.
Thanks. Yeah.
Hey, I have
Go
things
ahead.
to say.
I have never heard you try and change the subject so hard in my life.
Hold on a second. There used to be a time in Andy and I's friendship where I would tell him that I really liked something, and he would go ahead and just give it a try in his own personal life. Now, nope, not a fucking chance.
Especially
He'll
now
do it in person and just pretend that he likes it. But
I enjoyed it
that's
when I would never seek that music out, and I don't want to listen to music anymore for the most part. Like I don't have time for new music. I've been
music
going
sucks.
back and back to music I used to listen to. I don't give a shit about. I listened to the new Kendrick Lamar like twice, and then I was like, oh, okay. I'm going back to Seven Dust like I normally do. So
yeah, and I can't give you too much shit either because
no, you cannot.
I don't check out the things that you like.
Also, I
because
won't
they're
even receive
podcasts
it.
about diarrhea or whatever.
Forgot about that. One of the stupid Twitter people I follow started a podcast all about bodily fluids. And the first episode was about diarrhea, and he just went on for like an hour.
Oh man, weird
Yeah,
Twitter's the best.
that was a strange one where I honestly was like, is this an audio meme or is this
It basically was.
Oh boy. Hey,
Anyway, what?
okay, I have a question later, but you go ahead because I interrupted.
I was going to say, okay, do both of you know what a kinesiologist is?
No.
No. Do you, Josh?
I don't.
Okay, I don't know if I could describe it either, but he's like a. Well, it's really. It seems like so my in-laws.
Oh wait, is that the muscle testing thing?
Yeah, where they put certain.
Okay.
Well, what happens is like you come in and like the guy like tests these different supplements on you, and then like tests how strong your arm is based on your reaction, and like puts little things on you.
Yes.
Because I came in.
I've been to see one.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry.
Well, no, because we talked previously about my anxiety and depression and stuff, and I've had more flare-ups of all those things lately, and so I finally went to this guy today, and I was like, hey, I'm having like panic attacks and depression and anxiety, and then even today I was like, for the past 5 or 6 days I've had like really crampy bowels and bad things happening in that area, so I was like, something is not right here. So I went, and he did all the weird. It's so weird. It seems like totally fake at first, except for it really does work. And so basically, I was like, all this stuff about my stomach cramping and blah blah blah. And he tests like a couple things real quick. He's like, okay, you've got parasites. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then he was like, but it's not a big deal. Here, just take 6 of these a day, and by the time the bottle's gone, it'll be done.
Is it para herbs?
I don't know. I forget what all
that's a serious question. There's something called para herbs that kills parasites in your stomach.
That was not the word he used, but it was some sort of natural thing. Anyway, so long story short, I got like 3 other things that I'm going to be taking to help level out. Something about serotonin, something about adrenal fatigue, and all this stuff. And then he tested my thyroid, which I don't know much about any of this stuff, which is like in my neck. And I guess that's really messed up. But he was like, oh, we got to work on these other things first before we work on the thyroid. So basically, I'm just all out of whack if you trust this guy in like a chemical gut balance way.
Yes.
But then
absolutely.
I told this guy was cool because I just told him, I was like, hey, I brought some of the Charlotte's Web oil with me. I was like, I just wanted him to test it on me and see if, I spent $188 on a bottle. I wanted to see if it worked because he can kind of like test and see if it works on my body well. And luckily it did. He was like, yeah, this stuff is really good. If you take it twice a day, it'll be really good for you. It's like, okay, great. That makes sense. So, but then I told him, so for that, that's your proof that CW hemp actually works. But then it was just funny because I told him, I was like kind of sheepish about it. I was like, yeah, I've been taking like marijuana edibles every night to help me sleep, and it really works. And he was just like, okay, cool, that's great. If it helps you, like, cool. Like he's this old
nice.
Former hippie guy who was just like, yeah, that's great, cool. And I was happy about that. So that's my story. I have parasites and a lot of weird imbalances that I'm trying to figure out. So there.
Yeah. Have we talked about this? I feel like we've had this conversation maybe, but like about how all this is like way outside of my field of knowledge or whatever. But
sure.
I've read a lot of studies about how your gut health affects your mental health and how those things are like
totally
linked. So that's interesting that you have parasites and that's like whacking you out of like your normal like state or whatever. It makes a lot of sense.
And he also
hope that works out.
I know, me too. It's just you've got to like commit to it and take like 9 or like 12 pills every day. So I just have to figure out a system to do it. And then he also said that I have basically gluten is basically bad for me. So if I could, and it's tied to depression too. So
right, wheat is just not good for the human body. Honestly, none of us should be eating it.
I believe that, and I did, and it's nice too because I think in taking the CBD oil and honestly using the edibles at night has really brought down the amount of beer I'm drinking too. So I think that has helped reduce the, gluten, wheat stuff. But yeah, anyway, it's just nice to finally have started this is the first step I wanted to take, like very natural stuff. And if it ends up not working, then, go to a different type of doctors and step up the type of things I'm taking to help myself. But I'm happy to have the first step going here. So
yeah, man.
Good job, me.
Well,
Ding.
I'm glad you went to see that guy and that he found all that stuff. So Emmy has been going to one for years, and she had many of those same symptoms. Like gluten came up as negative for her, adrenal fatigue.
Did it take her a while to like believe the kinesiologist? Because it seems so like a witch doctor kind of thing.
Well,
honestly,
so a couple things. I mean, I know it seems completely like a scam almost.
Well, and he would tell me like, put your hand over this certain specific organ, and like all of a sudden my leg was really weak. I was like, is this just a trick? Is he like holding my leg differently or something? And it's like, but I've been there a few times, and Megan has gone a lot, and it's like it really does seem to work. So it's just one of those strange things. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, that I was going to say, it's everything he has suggested has worked, which is bizarre. And dude, if you'd gone to a Western doctor, not to like shit on Western medicine, but they would have just told you have IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and basically they can't help you.
And then they'd give me an antidepressant or something for the rest of it.
Yeah, which I mean, that those things are real, and there's a time and place for that also. But Western medicine, there's a lot of stuff in the stomach that they just do not get, and I know because my wife has been through a lot of it. And she ended up going to a kinesiologist because he was kind of like the last straw. He was the last chance, through a string of doctors behind us who were able to do nothing. So anyway, but yeah, that stuff is substantial.
And see, I'm trying to go the opposite way with the doctor thing. Start here and then go up from there as needed. So I feel good about that. Right.
And I'm going to suggest a couple things. I mean, I know I'm no longer a doctor.
Bands,
I did take that out of my name.
If they're bands, I won't listen.
King Gizzard is actually very good for your gizzard. So something that I actually gleaned from a series of Joe Rogan podcasts is like, Dave, what you were saying about how important gut health is. So it couldn't hurt, Andy, to get a probiotic that you take every day that just kind of, you usually take it after eating, and it's healthy bacteria that helps your gut operate as it should. And also, I don't know if you've ever drank a kombucha, but those have been super helpful to me just with digestion, and they have natural living probiotics in them as well. And if you get the Synergy brand, sorry, go ahead, Dave.
Oh, I was going to say that's supposed to be super good for your gut health, kombucha.
Yeah.
Because it's like alive. That's a fermented thing where there's bacteria going on.
It's like fruity beer. If you like the fruity beer, coming from somebody who doesn't drink kombucha or beer, that's what it tastes like to me.
Well, I'm on board. If it's got beer in the name, I'll drink that up. Just don't give me a root beer.
Kombucha is how you say it, actually.
Okay.
So, there's Andy's gut.
I'm on the way to figuring out
all his body problems.
My life.
No, that's good. Yeah. Goodness, weird stuff.
Ink and Echo Holistic Podcast.
Yeah. Come here.
Hey, I used to work at Whole Foods in the old the whole body department, so I was recommended and shit all over the place.
Yeah, you know
the whole body, HOLE. I work in the whole body section.
Whole Foods, HOLE Foods. It's just food with holes in it. Your bagels over here,
donuts, and
your donuts,
Swiss cheese.
Yeah,
right. What other foods?
And that's it. No other food.
Oh, come on. There's got to be a million pretzels. Come on.
Okay, yeah, pretzels.
They actually take pasta. Yeah.
Yeah, they take food that doesn't have holes in it naturally, and they put the holes in it themselves
with like a machine gun.
Yeah. So like all the cold cuts have been pierced with a sniper round.
Yeah.
Oh, good joke, everybody. That's a good riff. Whole Foods to Whole Foods. That's not an archaic pun at all. Andy, I want to know what you know, because you're deeper into the internet than any of us present here.
You might be surprised that Dave. He has his own meme accounts, just so
you don't follow my meme accounts.
This might be his world.
Okay, once we're off mic, I want to know what those are. But
yeah, you should.
What? So I heard for the first time this week of the Kingdom of Kek.
Oh, okay.
What is that?
I think this might need to be on Dave, because I don't actually know about this. I know it's associated with the frog, with Pepe the Frog. Is that correct?
It's just it's a meme. I don't know the origin of the meme. I just know that it's a huge meme for that. Like, it's one of those memes that like permeates all the other memes also. So,
oh man,
it's a meta meme.
Yeah, it's weird. I would say this is gonna sound dumb, but just go to Know Your Meme, look up Keck, and you'll see I just saw this week there was a video of this kid that was on some British like late night talk show with his parents. I don't know what the like why he was on this show. It was something to do with like some achievement that he had or in school or something. I don't know. And this late night host was like asking him these questions. He's like, if you could do anything,
Oh boy.
it's like, if you could do anything, when you grow up, like, what is it that you want to do? And he's like, well, the kid thinks, and he gets this stupid smile on his face. He says, I'd really like to fly planes into tall buildings.
Oh shit.
Oh my gosh.
The late night host is like, excuse me? He's like, yeah, like fly planes into buildings. And he's like, okay, well, that's all the time we have. Thank you for joining us. And the kid's like, praise be to Keck.
So
I was like,
oh my
he's just
goodness.
an 8-year-old little troll. Yeah.
So what?
It was
so it's
incredible.
But that doesn't make sense.
I don't know though.
Still.
Like I said,
what is Keck?
Right. I don't know the origin of the meme. I just know that it's
so okay. I've seen the phrase based Keck. Does that have any similar to based God? Like, does Keck equal God or something weird like that?
Dave, did we lose you?
No, I'm here. I'm looking at. It's actually looks like
reading.
looks like Keck is a deity in the world of Warcraft.
Oh,
online, which makes sense that people would then adapt that. Into a meme.
No, I think it's an ancient deity as well. Egyptian,
maybe?
I want to say that
This
that was a.
deep.
Actual
I'm just reading the
frog.
first.
We
the
are
first,
cracking open something big right now on the Ink and Echo podcast. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. You know what? I don't
should-
know if I can read all of this right now.
Don't worry.
This should be labeled under the Ink and Echo case files, because this is where we're getting into like
It's a satirical
60
religion
minutes.
based around ancient Egyptian deity Keck, also spelled Cuck or Keku. Which
Is that the
makes
link?
so much sense.
Okay.
It must be. It's an androgynous god of darkness and chaos who's often depicted as a frog.
So it's
Also
Marilyn
makes sense-
Manson as a frog.
This makes sense why it's so... Okay, so 4chan adapted it to Pepe the Frog, which is
Oh my
how
gosh.
it became... it looks like it fed into everybody else in there. So everyone,
boy.
now you know about gut health, and you also know about the deity Keck. And Kekistan is a fake country. It's an ethnic group of shit posters. They're known as Kekistans.
See,
Oh my gosh.
the internet just blows my mind. It is.
It's
It
insane.
is simultaneously terrible, ridiculously terrible, but also in the most amazing way. It is.
And we're only in the baby years of it, honestly. You know,
Does that? I don't know which direction that means. Stuff like this is gonna go. Is stuff like this gonna get more intense and
probably
weird, or is it
bad.
gonna go
real
away?
deep, dark, bad, and then it's gonna come into the real world if it hasn't already. But oh my,
I love when memes go into the real world, like when people were putting pictures of Sean Spicer in bushes around DC because he was hiding. His little half Sean Spicer head sticking out of bushes all over. See, that's just funny. Anyway, hey guys, when this podcast comes out, I'm gonna be flying to be on tour with Emery, which is insane.
Wait, you're going on tour?
Yeah. Yes, Dave.
I feel like we've talked about this, but maybe you should tell people on the show what it is that you're doing.
What? I feel like you're making a joke, but I can't tell.
No, only that we.
Oh, are you
the
going
three of
on
us have had
tour?
this-
Do you want to
No.
talk about it?
Three of us have had this conversation before, and it's ringing true, you know.
Yeah,
It's
that
like,
that last
we should hear about
conversation.
that,
Yeah. Well, last episode I talked about my house show tour, and that's still happening. But I'm opening up for Emery on 3 tours, and the first one is the day this comes out, or I'm flying there the day this comes out. So, Josh, was that an Emery song? Can you play an Emery song? And the reason is you. That's Hoobastank.
No, that's the question. The question is you. That's the Emery song.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I couldn't name a single Emery song.
oh, that's fine.
I could name one. I don't know the melody. Anyway, sorry, I detracted you.
No, it's just I'm so as of recording this, I just feel like I'm scrambling to get everything together and practice the set as much as possible. And then today I woke up and I came into my room and I was like, I'm gonna work today, and then I ended up just feeling that kind of like, here, give me a minor thing, Josh. I need it to be sadder right now. Okay, can you do that? There we go. So I sat there and I felt like that paralyzed anxiety thing that I couldn't get out of. So I basically didn't do anything until like 1 p.m. today. I just goofed around
in your jammies with a cup of coffee and
I was
looking
fully
up dank memes.
No. But then Megan called me. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing anything right now, and I just feel paralyzed and I can't do it. It was the greatest day in the world. And
I'm sorry,
I hope
I should
someone
actually
gets
listen
that
to it.
joke. That joke. You weren't listening to me? Is that what you just said?
No, I was listening to you. I should stop riffing
Okay.
around so that I can listen
that's
more
fine.
intently.
And basically, I told Megan, I was like, I feel bad because I'm just paralyzed. I'm not getting anything done. And she was like, well, it's like, I worked on Memorial Day. I've basically been working every weekend on stuff. And she was like, I think that's probably okay if you don't do anything today. I was like, yeah, I never really thought about that. But I guess it is okay if I don't do anything today. It made me feel better in my head, but not in my anxiety-ridden body. And then I went to the doctor or the kinesiologist guy. So,
Thank
yeah,
goodness
like-
for those affirming wives who go ahead and tell us to just relax. for a
Right.
minute.
And
Emmy
I didn't-
does the same thing with me.
and I didn't zoom out and look and be like, yeah, I didn't take a weekend or a holiday or anything. So maybe I can. And that's okay. So, but then the freaking terrible thing is I can sort that stuff out in my head and not be anxious in my head, but my body is messed up. So like even right now, I still have that like ball in my stomach, and it's just like, why are you there? I've mentally got this sorted out, and it's really annoying. So hopefully all these damn pills that I got and CBD oil can help stop it. So anyway, going on tour with Emery. EmeryMusic.com if you want to look at the dates. So that was the point of the story, is all. Dave,
we've talked about a lot of things, but none
Not
of them
you.
were you so far. So
I mean, I contributed. I feel like I don't know how everyone else feels.
yeah, we learned about Keck and stuff. That's
Yeah.
cool.
I like looked that
Well-
up on the fly.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
why don't you tell the good folks at home and pretend like Andy and I haven't heard this already?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you've got a new record coming out under the
do.
name Naal.
Yeah. I do have a new record coming out.
Yep. What?
That's all I was looking for was a yes.
Yes,
And-
okay.
and we can move
Why don't you
on
tell
from
me
non-Dave
on?
things.
Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, that was not a good segue on my part. I'm sorry. It was almost like too hard of a left turn from silliness to deep sadness.
It's where we need to
But-
go, though.
Yeah. Because
Well,
your record is good and it does need to be heard by Lowercase Noises fans.
It's right up their alley, too. It's ambient, instrumental
Yes,
guitar
it
music.
certainly is.
Yeah.
I feel like it also might be like the podcast listener demographic. This podcast specifically, listener demographic. A lot of sad people, I think, might enjoy this record.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
of people who are listening, and you hear Andy talk about his anxiety and his depression. You hear Josh talk about his anxiety and how he wants to quit his job and things like that. And you're thinking, man, I really relate to that. Guess what? Have I got some music for you? Coming out June 30th on naalmusic.com. Pre-order now.
And that's NAAL. MUSIC dot
Yep.
COM.
That's what you would put in the computer.
Okay.
It can echo Wiggins' head.
Oh, this is the new Sun Kill Moon.
heavy. I guess I'm doing some kind of Connor Overs sort of thing over here. Here's an interesting question that I would like to know. You
Please
make
ask an
reference
interesting
to
question.
You make reference to on your Bandcamp how included with the deluxe package there is a quote from your favorite novel.
Yeah.
What is your favorite novel, and what is the background behind that inclusion?
Which Nancy Drew book is your favorite one?
Yeah, is it the
It's,
Clock Tower Mystery? Is it the Ghost in the Hidden Wall? Legends of the Hidden Temple.
It's the crossover with the Hardy Boys. Actually, those are my favorite.
Those were good
goodness.
ones. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's like the original
Avengers
extended universe.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
that we were saying the same thing, same joke.
Okay.
Marilyn Robinson, Gilead is my favorite book. She wrote my favorite book.
Oh my gosh!
The book is called Gilead.
Is that the first in a trilogy, perhaps, or at least related books? 3 related books.
Yeah, so she has written since
it's the Gilead and then the Philiad and then the Iliad. I think.
Yeah, it's the the 2-book
shit poster over
to the
here.
Iliad.
Sorry, don't talk about Keck or whatever and then expect me to behave myself.
We did this to ourselves. So there's a second book that came out last year, the year before, 2015, I think. And that is like a loose sequel to Gilead. Or like, I wouldn't say sequel, I would say it's like a parallel novel. So Gilead focuses on it's written as a series of letters from a man to his son who's growing up, and the main character's name is John Ames, and he is a preacher in sort of the early 1900s, and he's writing these letters to his son because he got married to this woman very late in life, and they had a child, and he's afraid that he's going to die before he can impart any of his fatherly wisdom to his son. And so he's writing these letters to his son saying, here's all the things that I would have said if we had if I wasn't so old and I had you sooner, and things like that. So it's kind of like a it comes off as like a slice of life kind of novel, but it's so much more than that. Like you get, I don't know, it's really great. Marilyn Robinson is an amazing author, and that book I read 7 years ago for the first time, and it was, it like changed my life. It taught me a lot about things, and a lot about who it like put words to things I was thinking, and helped develop me into a real person, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Things like pacifism, and like how to love your neighbor, and what that means practically when you're dealing with people that you don't like. I'm really selling the book here, but no, these they're just themes. So the book, if I had to describe it to somebody, the book is about love, but all the different kinds of love. So like the love between this husband and wife, and between the father and son, and between pastor and his people, and man to his friends, and to his enemies, and how do all of those things reconcile. It's awesome. It's a great book.
Man, now I want to read it. And
Pulitzer Prize winner, buddy. I don't know what that was. That sound.
I think that's what people call their significant other on the internet. Just BAE.
Thanks for that. Yeah. Thanks.
But so in a couple months back, or close to a year ago, I was in a book club with 3 other people, and one of the young women, that was her suggestion for what we read next, and we ended up going on to something else. But
totally
she
ignoring her and shutting her down because she's
we were just like,
we
we'd rather read
mansplained
about
to her
Katniss.
that Hardy Boys was where it's at.
Yes, mansplaining did come in to the anyhow, it's all that to say that's not the first time it's been recommended to me, and that sounds beautiful. How you described it sounds like something I would get into for sure. Are you someone who can read a book more than once, or does it have to be the right book that like one of these that sticks with you?
Yeah. So there's I have two different thoughts. My first thought is that there are too many books to reread books. There's too much good stuff to like reread. You know what I mean? But at the same time, there are things in my life that have impacted me in such a way that I need to pick them up every once in a while, even if it's a couple of years in between. Like I wouldn't read the same book every year or something. I know that there are people that do that. They're like these friends of mine, or no one in particular that I'm thinking of, they'll just read the Harry Potter series and they'll be like, wow, that was great. Okay, on to the next Harry Potter series. We're going to restart it because I love it so much. And that's the only thing they
Josh's
ever read.
favorite thing to do. Yeah.
And so that's I think that's silly. Like I said, there's too much good stuff out there to read. But there are rare special occasions where I would say, yeah, I want to pick this up again. I want to be reminded of why this is my favorite, or what drew me to this in the first place.
Wait, so I actually sort of had this question, but that helped me form it. Is just that there are, again, I'm not as much of a reader as Josh is, obviously, or maybe even you, Dave, but there are certain things, like mostly movies, that are in a certain time of my life is really influential and meaningful. And there are certain movies that are still that for me over a long period of time, like The Fountain. Every time I rewatch The Fountain, I have this nervousness of like, is it going to be cheesy to me this time? Yeah. And then every time I'm like, oh, good, this is still like the greatest thing I've ever seen. And so that's fine. But then there are certain movies where it used to hit me in a way, and now it hits me in like a different, like bad way. And I guess the only real example I can think of is Lost in Translation. So before I was married, I just really identified with Bill Murray's character, I think, and just his kind of general sadness. Like, it was really romantic and something, and I liked the idea of being alone in a city where you don't even speak the language and blah, blah, blah. But then after I got married, I was like, this guy's a fucking ass to his wife, you know? Like, he's basically cheating on his wife, and I didn't think about it that way. So now I used to think that I'll like love this movie. I was like a dick about it. I was like, I have a movie that I like judge people on. Like, if you liked Lost in Translation, then I'll be your friend or whatever. Like, I think I had that legitimate thought. And now I'm like, man, if you're married and you like Lost in Translation, then like, that's kind of weird. So I don't know. That's not really a question, but do you have things like that have grown to be not enjoyable anymore, or like, oh, I don't identify with this anymore, even though I used to a lot?
I don't know if it's something like, so the immediate things that pop into my mind are not things where I saw them and I was like, this is like as a 20 something, this is my favorite movie, and then as, you know, like late 20s or whatever, I'm like, oh, I identify with this in a different way and it makes it not good. Right. It's more like I watched Space Jam recently, and I was like,
did it hold up?
I was like, yo, this movie sucks. What the heck? Why is everyone like, Space Jam is the best movie? This movie sucks. I challenge any of you to go rewatch that movie. You haven't watched that movie in 10 years, rewatch it. You'll realize that movie is bad.
See, you know,
that kind of thing happens all the time.
You know what movie I haven't watched in 10 years is The Matrix, and I had a craving for it the other night, and I almost watched it, but I was like, what would I think about The Matrix now?
Yeah.
I don't even know. Question. When's the last time you watched The Matrix, Josh?
Pretty recently.
Oh, really?
I like the first and the second one pretty equally.
I hope that's what I would think, but yeah.
Yeah. Just to give a short answer, I think they hold up in a way that you have. I mean, if you view them in the lens of the early 2000s,
sure.
And the solidity of the story is still unique and strong enough that it is a well-made movie. So I think it holds up in its own way.
That is good to hear, because that was one of those movies like, I hope I don't see it as dumb, because I loved that movie, but I haven't seen it forever, so whatever.
Dave, do you read a lot in general? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just before we move on, I would say They put this up on Netflix recently, and I watched Heavyweights, and that movie absolutely holds up. That's Ben Stiller, and they shoot the movie at the same camp that they shot Wet Hot American Summer at.
Oh.
So all of the exteriors and interiors are all the same, which is kind of weird to watch. That movie totally holds up, and everybody should go watch that movie. What were you saying, Josh?
Hey, no, I've got a question for you. Wait, I was going to redo Josh's question, but I forgot what it was.
Well,
So do you read a lot, Dave? Do you read a lot? Sorry.
Thank you for your question, Andy, and we'll just continue on that thread.
Wait, but guys,
I'm
it's
just
like the host that gets left behind.
I really like these super delayed air horns happening in this episode.
Yep.
I used to read a lot more than I do. I think I have a hard time carving out time to just sit and read anymore. Especially fiction. I read nonfiction pretty frequently, but fiction I have had a hard time getting into, even though I know that like right now,
Same here. Yeah.
from what I'm told, fiction is at like a high point for people that are willing to seek it out.
I just mixed up fiction and nonfiction, didn't I? Because I can't
think you probably
I
did.
can't do nonfiction.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I don't agree with you at all.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm reading a couple things right now, but it's all, like I think back to when I was in college and even high school, I was reading all the time. Like I always had a book in my backpack, and I still do. It's just I never pull it out and read it because I'm always doing something else.
Wait, so this is maybe from someone who doesn't read nonfiction.
Yeah.
Is it in order to want to read a nonfiction book? I feel like there's got to be something you either want to learn about or like change in your life. Would you say that's
Sure.
true?
Or a person that you want to know about. A
okay.
specific person you want to know about, a biography or something.
Uh-huh. But so is that the case for you, Dave? And if so, like what are those things that you're trying to learn or change or do or whatever?
Yeah, I think that's primarily why I read nonfiction, is because I just have a real like I want to always be learning new things, and I feel like the stream of information that comes to me naturally is like not really helpful for developing me as a person and what I know. I'm just being fed like.
Wait, what do you mean? What are those? Just
like,
internet stuff or what?
Yeah, like clickbait and trending topics and stuff. It's just like that's not things that will make you a better person or like make you knowledgeable or wise. Mm-hmm. So I have to actually go and seek out things that I am interested in or that I hear about where I'm like, oh, I would like to know more about that. I feel like podcasts are sort of the same way right now, where like it's a longer form media avenue. And so you can listen to, especially like human interest stories and things like that, or things like science shows, or like I'm trying to think of those NPR shows that everybody listens to, like Radio Lab or things like that, where you're just like
This American Life.
Yeah, those places are like you can just turn it on and be fed interesting things, and that's really cool.
Yeah,
I like reading nonfiction because I can kind of pick a topic that I am interested in and find some good books on it, and then just like become more knowledgeable about the topic. A lot of times that has to do with philosophy or religion, but that's just where I find the most stimulating content.
Yeah,
sure.
Hashtag content.
Do you ever find that because when I do have those times where I'm like I really want to seek out something or learn about something, like there was a while ago where I was like really we don't have to go the whole religion route if we don't want to, but like there was a long period where I was like, I feel like I need to figure something out here. But then so relatively quickly, I kind of just burned myself out on the whole thought process. And I was like, I just am done for right now. Do you find yourself like going in and out of wanting to learn or something about these things, or does it stay relatively consistent? Because maybe that's my problem, is I get burned out so quickly on shoving that stuff in my brain. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have to, for me, I don't really think about it like, I know this is just the way that you described it. And I don't mean to pick on you, but like I don't think about it as like
please.
like shoving things in my brain. I'm like, this is a topic I genuinely want to explore, like the dialogue behind. So, Jewish mysticism and Kabbalah was something that I recently got very interested in, and just like learning about that religious practice. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to hop online. I'm going to try and find the best books on the subject for like coming from my perspective, and something that I could like easily consume. And, either my thought process was either I'll read one book about it and be like, okay, that was enough. Like I feel like I have a general understanding. Or at that point I would be like, wow, I want to go deeper, and I want to learn about something specific in this tradition or whatever. And so that's kind of what I did. I just found some books, and the first one that I read was just sort of a general overview of the mystic tradition in Judaism, starting from like first century Judaism, which is the thing that interested me the most, and then sort of moving toward like through the present time. And once I had that general overview, I had more of an understanding of like, if I wanted to keep diving into the subject, what things would I want to learn about? And so maybe I'm not trying to like prescribe things for you or whatever, but maybe it's just like in the way that you approach it. You don't need to like go in and bite off like something super specific right away. You can like general knowledge is really important too.
Sure.
So
yeah, and there are things in my head that I'm like, I'd really just like to learn more about that, like geology stuff, or even like historical things are really interesting to me. But I just don't. I have a hard time putting it into action, and
sure.
It's probably a lot just like what you said, all the shit that we're putting in our heads that's on the internet, and then my brain is full at the end of the day, and I'm like, well, so I messed up, so I can't put anything else in there. And then that's basically what every day is.
I messed up.
Yeah. Well, sorry. So
that's hard. It's hard to like, especially like along with that, with the like feeling inundated with so much stuff all the time, so much information, and most of it's useless, and we like get rid of it at the end of the day anyway,
Right.
But even beyond that, just the way that we consume information now has shifted, where like sitting down with a book on a singular topic, like 150 pages or 200 pages on one topic, is so opposite of like anything that we can consume.
People be like, look at that hipster. Like, what is he like trying to learn over there?
Right. Well, it's just like, it's that mindset is so different than like, I'm just going to read the headline, get the information that I need. Maybe I'll read like the second line. And that's it, that's the way that we consume, or that we're like used to consuming information now. And so to retrain your brain to like actually take in large quantities of information on a singular subject is difficult.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
As a doctor.
That makes me think about, how much do you guys individually think about retaining memory? Because here's a little segue.
Lately,
Sorry, I'll say more on that real quick. But and we kind of touched on it a little bit way back on episode 15, the Bo Burnham, Pete Holmes conversation thing.
Yes,
just where I was thinking about the fact that we, Dave, like you were just describing, we just cram information into our heads all day, and most of it just gets dropped, or it's forgotten by the next day or a couple days later. And I really don't like that idea, because I personally am very paranoid about holding on to my memory. I've always had a fairly good memory. I'm not bragging. I just mean I remember things well, especially if they matter to me, or if they're especially insightful or joyful or even hurtful memories, burn into my brain. But that crosses over to things like music and film and books. And the simplest way to describe this would maybe just be like, I want to be able to go to my bookshelf with 300 plus books and pick up the ones I've read and remember at least a decent amount about it. I don't know why that's important to me, but I don't want to just consume it like a tree shredder and just be like, and it's gone and it's out the back of my brain and I remember nothing about it, you know? So anyway, all that to say, how much memory do you guys retain as far as things you care about?
Well, so I was just thinking about my kids, and so Megan has a much better memory than me, and she'll say stuff occasionally, be like, "So remember when like Marshall used to do this?" And I'm like, "No," and then I'm like, "How that sucks that I don't remember that. Like, I don't remember these things that my kids did." And then I always get jealous when I hear or see something about like a parent who, I don't know, like, or basically anyone who keeps a diary and can go back and remember things and as it like jogs their memory. Like, I've gone through this much of my life without putting any like flags in the ground to go back to that jog any sort of memory. So I find myself, even just this past week, I was like, my oldest kid is 7. It's like, and I don't remember the majority of what's even happened up to this point. And but then I'm like, well, I should be one of those cool people who like writes a diary and blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, I can't do that either. I'm just not that kind of person. So then I just feel bad about myself is usually how that ends. And I get sad. So that's my memory experience currently.
Well, okay, I have some thoughts on that, but Dave, what is your answer?
I don't know if I've thought about it too much. Like, what I understand about memory is that I don't actually remember anything. I recreate the memories by like how often I visit them, right, in my brain. Like I recreate these neural pathways because our brains aren't like photogenic. It's just like we are recreating memories in our brain, and the more often that we visit them, the stronger those neural pathways get. So I imagine that the way, like at its best, the things that I visit most often in my brain are the things that are most important to me.
Yeah.
That's not always how it works out. Like I was recording a band this weekend, and we were talking about something, and we were sharing a story, and they were talking about somebody that we knew mutually, or that I was trying to know. And this person said a name. They're like, their name is like something, and I completed it. I was like, so it's this, like the first name, and then I said a last name. I was like, I don't know why I know that name though. Who is that? They're like, that's the quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. I was like, I don't watch sports. Why do I know that name? Why is that name in my brain? And I just like puked it out right now. You know what I mean? So like, I hate that things like that happen. But
wait, say the first name. What?
I don't remember.
Oh,
I could like I can't
even
remember
right
now.
now. You can't remember? Okay.
No, I can't remember because I don't know why I know that name in the first place. But that was just a weird thing that happened, and I was like, this is useless information to me. Why is this in my brain? I could have something better in my brain if I wanted to. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, quick question while we're paused. The recording sign went away in my top left corner. Is that bad?
Yeah, it did for me as well.
It's still good on my end. It says it's recording.
Maybe we should pause real quick.
That's what you said last time, and we lost it.
It says recording in progress on everybody's tracks.
Okay, great.
All right.
So,
Dave, are you recording yours independently by chance?
I can start now.
Might be a good idea.
I think we're good though, but that wouldn't hurt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like we all think about it pretty differently. But
are you trying to get to like
what's a real question, Josh?
Cultivating memory or figuring out how to be better rememberers? Is it like a giver,
No, I
the
don't-
giver situation or something?
No, I don't have an agenda here, but I suppose I don't think it could hurt. I mean, because if you take that to the furthest possible degree, our memories are basically only our own, and we're going to die anyway. So it doesn't really matter if when I'm 80, I have an amazing memory and someone next to me who's 80 remembers nothing about the past week. We're both basically in the same place.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It still matters to me, and I don't know. In a weird way, this doesn't describe it well. But it's like I like to live my own life as it's happening. I want to hold on to things.
Yeah.
I don't know, because they are valuable to me later, both nostalgic or silly, or things surrounding family, or good, beautiful experiences, or even painful experiences. I hate when someone will tell me a story. It'll probably be Stefan. This has happened several times. Stefan will say something that we did together, and I have no recollection of doing or saying those things. That makes me feel sick.
Yeah.
It's like, no, wait, I'm the good memory guy. Why don't I have that? Anyway, and so at least for me, I think that reading books actually does slow us down a bit, and makes us soak up information slowly and over the course of several days or weeks.
Yeah, I imagine it's good for your brain to be forced to take in a very large piece of work and remember all the pieces that are, all the lines that are going between ideas and all that, as opposed to like scrolling through a million tweets, be like, aha, that's funny, and then you just forget it. Like, surely that's training your brain to be like, that's cool, in and out, as opposed to like a book where you're like, okay, I've got to remember like just like what you just said, like over a week or so, you're like, okay, I remember what these characters are doing in this situation and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's surely far better for your brain. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a different practice. And I mean, which of us can remember the news or bullshit that we read a week ago on Tuesday on Twitter, other than the fact that Chris Cornell died around that time?
Yeah,
and it's all gone. We were there, we were us, but all that shit is gone. That freaks me out. I don't like at all. And okay, one last thing. I've actually heard there are studies that have been done that it is good for your brain actually to read more than one thing at once. Just meaning, I mean, that could look like one nonfiction book, one fiction book, or two fiction books, and maybe you read a chapter of each every night before bed, or maybe you read one night and the other one the other night, and just flip flop back and forth. Something about your brain queuing up those memories again, even a day or two prior, is healthy to just keep the connections flowing, so to speak. I know I'm saying this in very non-scientific
well, it
terms.
sounds kind of like muscle confusion when you're working out your body. It's like, okay, so you don't let your brain just stay in one lane. You're like, okay, you got to switch and you got to keep all these different connections. Like, again, that's just like another, I don't know, it sounds like a strength building exercise, basically.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, all that is very important to me, and I sometimes worry about it, but I want to be sharp into my late years. So
yeah.
Anyway, well, Dave's got a new record out, and okay,
yeah.
to touch back on that, listeners, the main point that we're having Dave on is that he wrote a lovely new record called A703. And Dave, when the hell does that come out?
Yeah.
To the masses? Oh shit, is he gone?
Dave? All right, it's present time, Andy, back here. And can you believe that's where we lost the audio? We were just about to dive into Dave's album and talk about all the good stuff behind it, because it really is good stuff. So I mean, like I said at the beginning, it's a little ridiculous, and we're gonna have Dave back on, but you get to hear all the bull crap that we talked about before his album, I guess. So yeah, sorry, especially to Dave. Dave, you are a trooper. You've recorded 2 episodes with us. Well, now 3, and you're gonna have to come back on this month. So there you go, Dave. We love you. And everyone else, go to naalmusic.com and just listen to it for yourself. NAAL music.com. All right. And so next week is going to be good. And then this is a podcast. It comes out every week. So we'll have good stuff every week. What am I even saying now? All right. I'm getting out of here. See you guys later.
This week, we're doubling down our Daves. Listen to me, Andy, I need a dinger on this one. We've had Dave Bazan on twice. We've had Dave Mantel on twice. That's the end of my list. But listen to this. What if just imagine a casino and there's a roulette board and you're walking in and there's 2 colors. There's one color's Roy, the other color's Dave. I'm doubling down on my Daves over here on the Ink and Echo. So the new rule, I think, is, well, okay, let's continue this. So then the pit boss comes over and he's like, whoa, somebody's doubling down on Dave's. And then he pages his manager and he's like, sir, someone is doubling down on Dave. Can we let this bet pass? And he like pulls out a cigar and he's like, do it. And then the roulette thing is spinning. It's spinning. Oh, big money. Let's get it. And there it is. Oh, that's the day I win.